Hello and welcome to Financial Education Information. My name's Warren Shute, and today, how to repay your mortgage early because your lunch is costing you £26,000. It's one of the largest debts that we all, scrap that, we don't all take it out, I guess, but it's the largest debt that most of us take out in our lifetime, and it seems to take a lifetime to repay. Ta-da, your mortgage. I would imagine most of you, or the majority of you listening, have a mortgage, or some of you may have multiple mortgages. So I'm going to touch on the residential mortgage, your main home, your PPR, your principal private residence mortgage here, not buy-to-lets. So there are 11 million mortgages outstanding in the UK. 11 million. Now, actually, if I'm honest, that was less than I expected. There are 29 million homes. So that's roughly 1 in 3 properties have a mortgage on them. I thought it was going to be more than that. But my question to you is, do you want to join the ranks of the 60 or so % of people who own their home outright? Today's show is all about what my secrets are I use to help those individuals repay their mortgage early. So actually, if you are actually a financial planner, because there are many financial planners who listen to the show, listen up, because I think some financial planners, particularly when we're earlier in our career, always focus on investment. And you're becoming investment advisors rather than true financial planners. You know, we've got to cover the breadth. We've got to make sure we help the clients make the best decisions they can. Let me give you a setup. Let me give you an example. So it's all about paying more. So there are no secrets, no BS. It's about paying more, but it's how you can pay more. So let me give you some clues here. Let's say you have a £200,000 mortgage and you pay 2.5% interest and you've got over 25 years. That's a ballpark standard example mortgage. You're going to be paying about £890 a month. Okay, so it's on repayment. Step one is a given. Put your mortgage on repayment. Okay, I know there's an argument saying, yeah, but I get a better investment return if I invest the money than if I pay it off. I'm borrowing at 1% more, but my MSCI World Index is doing 10%. Makes sense to invest. You've got to pay it off sometime. It's your home. It's not an investment. We want to build stability. So you've got risk with investment. You've got stability with property. Split your investment 50-50. Pay down your mortgage and invest. Trust me on this one. So your mortgage, £200,000, 2.5% interest, 25 years, is going to be about £890 a month. Okay. If you overpaid by just 10%, okay, so 10% is the first 2 digits, so £89, let's round up to £90. If you overpaid by £90 a month, you would reduce your mortgage term by 3 years. And you'd save yourself £9,000 in interest. Now, to me, that is just, wow. What? Just pay an extra 10% a month. That's all I've got to do. Yep. You've just got to bring up your mortgage lender and say, could I please increase my standing order payment by an extra 10% so that that extra money gets paid to my capital every month. I'd like to pay my mortgage early. It's not just the £9,000 you're saving interest. You've paid your mortgage off 3 years early. Okay, so you've now got 3 years of payments effectively at the end of your mortgage where you've got no monthly payments. You've got another £32,000 of money that you otherwise wouldn't have had. Does that make sense? You've got that £32,000. So you've saved £9,000 in interest because you've paid that debt back early. Okay, but what you've really gained is the £32,000 of monthly payments. That £32,000 comes from the £890 a month you're paying on your mortgage times by the 36 months because you paid it off 3 years early. Okay, so 10%, I think is a given for most of you. For most of you, I know some of you will be going through challenging times, but for the majority of you, 10% is a given. Okay, what if you did £1,000 a quarter? Okay, so what you're now doing is you're giving yourself 3 months of the year, selling a few items on eBay, cutting back on a bit of expenditure here, there, and everywhere else, and you're putting a bit of money in a savings account, and then once a quarter, you're going to pay a chunk off. Okay, set yourself a little goal, make it exciting, get the team, get the family involved. What would happen? Well, you save £1,000 a quarter, you put that on your mortgage, you would save over 8 years on your mortgage term. So a 25-year mortgage comes down by 8 years. It goes down to 17 years. That's amazing. Okay. Now, that means you save over £85,000 in monthly payments. Okay, you're saving £24,000 or £24,500 in interest because you paid it off early. Okay, but really, what's the real saving? Cash flow. Well, I would have been paying that mortgage for those 8 years anyway. So that's £85,000. So, my friends, this is real game-changing material. What's important is you speak to your lender first. So make sure you check in with your lender. Hey, look, just explain to them you want to overpay on your mortgage and find out. Every mortgage is different. Most mortgages allow you to pay 10% off. Some allow you to pay more. Make sure you don't exceed those. When you exceed the overpayment allowance, you get charged an early repayment charge. It is not worth most of the time paying that charge. So don't start overpaying so you're paying penalties. You're kind of going backwards, really. Also, check that if you make a payment, you want the payment applied to the capital immediately. So I would say virtually all, but I could always be wrong. I don't want someone to pick me up, but I would say virtually all mortgages are calculated on a thing called daily rest. And what that means is your interest is calculated on your capital every single day. Back in the day when I started, we would have monthly or yearly rest, which means that you would make all your capital payments on your mortgage, but it wouldn't affect the balance or the interest. They would just recalculate it at the end of the year. Well, actually, I might as well leave it in my bank. And back then, you were getting good interest rates. So just double check that when you make a payment, it goes off the capital immediately, and they're not going to wait on it and apply it, say, a month later or a year later. If they apply it at the end of the month, then maybe time your payment so it goes in just before that. Most mortgages are set up on monthly in arrears. So you pay monthly. So you set your mortgage up. You say, for example, you move into your house on the 1st of January. They write you everything and say, oh, look, your first mortgage payment's due out on the 30th of January, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be monthly thereafter, roughly, typically. Why? That works for the mortgage company. Does it work for you? I don't know. Do you get paid weekly? Do you get paid fortnightly? So let me give you a fortnightly example. What if, rather than waiting until the end of the month, you paid half the payment up front, and then you paid another half 2 weeks later? So you're always in advance. So bear this in mind. This is important. I'm not saying, oh, okay, I'm not going to pay my payment this month on time. I'm going to pay it 2 weeks later and then 2 weeks later again. And therefore, I'm in arrears by 1 month because that will show up on your credit score as a missed payment. Okay. What I'm saying is, well, my payment is due on the 30th of January. I'm going to pay half of that on the 1st of January. And I'm going to pay the second half on the 15th of January. So that by the time the 30th of January comes around, I've already paid it. Okay. Now you could do the 15th and the 30th if you want. It doesn't really matter, but as long as they are both paid before the due date. Please, guys, don't misunderstand this as making your payments late. I don't want you to do that. So you pay half up front and then the half 2 weeks later. So this is called biweekly payment. What effectively you're doing is you're paying 26 payments a year, which effectively is 13 monthly payments. So you're paying 26 half payments. Okay, so you're paying it every 2 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. So you're effectively paying 13 payments. The secret really behind this is you're paying an extra payment every year. Now, for many of you, you might think, well, actually, so-and-so gets paid weekly anyway, so it doesn't make any difference to us. So why don't you pay it weekly? Every time you pay it gets paid, pay it weekly. But as long as it's in advance. So what happens if you pay it fortnightly? Okay, so based on the £200,000 mortgage you had before, £200,000, 2.5% interest over 25 years, okay, if you paid your mortgage in advance fortnightly, you would save almost £8,000 in interest. £8,000! That's amazing. You'd save over 2.5 years on the mortgage term as well. Okay, just by paying it fortnightly as opposed to paying it monthly. Yes, effectively, if you looked at a 52-week period, you are paying more. But actually, if I'm honest, how many of us are really going to notice that so much? Is it a good idea to do it? I think it is, as long as you do it in advance and as long as you're not being penalised by early repayment charges. So, as you can see, it's all about overpaying. The secret is to overpay. Now, you might say, well, look, I have no money in my bank. I can't afford to overpay. I disagree. Honestly, I disagree. And the reason I disagree is because there is always a way. And quite often we find ways to spend money on other things. Okay, but we find things on ways by things that bring us pleasure and joy, as opposed to maybe financial security. Maybe pleasure and joy in the immediate term, than rather in the future term. If it's things like, well, actually, I've just got the best Sky package, I've got the best broadband package, I've got the best mobile phone package, I've got the best, I don't know, whatever package you've got. You've then got to ask yourself questions. What's more important to me? Is it those things, or is it creating financial independence, financial freedom? And no one's here to judge. It's your life. Do whatever you want, but I'm just here to give you those choices. So let's look at lunch, right? So this is being recorded when we're still in lockdown, but we're kind of phasing back into work. So we're May 2021. Okay, so people are just about to go back into work. We've kind of had staff back into work a little bit more flexibly, and then over the next couple of months, we'll be going back in full time. So lunch, I don't know how much lunch costs. I guess it varies for everyone, but let me jump at a figure and say £7. I'm just assuming a sandwich, some crisps, maybe some fruit and a drink. You might even get something on the way home. I'm just trying to give you a bit of an idea of what it is. The lunch is an analogy. Your thing could be an American author made a life out of a thing called latte factor. His thing was coffee. Going and getting a coffee in the morning. People go to the coffee shop, get a donut, get a coffee in the evening, that kind of thing. It could be getting taxis rather than getting the bus. It could be all sorts of things. It could be whatever it is for you, but it's just that extra spend that you can cut back on. And in this example, it's lunch. £7 a day, 5 days a week, roughly equating to around £140 a month. That's your fluff. That's your thing that you can cream back on and say, hey, I've just saved myself £140 a month. Now, what's going to happen if I use that to pay off my mortgage? Okay. You could take that money and you can reduce your mortgage pay, increase your mortgage payment, reduce your mortgage balance. So let's run the example. So same example as before. Okay, £200,000 mortgage. We're going to take £7 a day, £140 a month, and we can use that to overpay on the mortgage. You save £26,500 in interest and 10 years off the term. So, my friends, that is why lunch is costing you £26,000. And it's not the £7 that you thought it was. Okay. The 10 years on the mortgage term. So you finish your mortgage after 15 years and not 25 years. That extra 10 years, okay, could be invested. Now, that extra 10 years is £106,000, nearly £107,000. Now, that would be quite nice invested in your retirement fund to build up your money to be secure for your retirement. And this is why we do financial planning, because it works. It's great. So, just remember that next time you buy lunch out, now and again, hey, life's about living. I get that, and I'm all for that. But every day, it's costing you £26,000. The final idea, well, not the final, but one idea you can do is, look, we're in record low interest rates at the moment. Bank of England is at 0.1. Most lenders are really, really, really low. If you haven't refinanced your mortgage for some time, look to refinance it. If you're in penalties, run the sums. Get a good financial planner, a good mortgage broker to run the figures for you to see if it's worthwhile. And I look at total cost when I'm doing it. I don't look at headline interest rate. I look at what's the total cost. What's the cost of valuation, arrangement fee, total interest over that period, and if I'm going to suffer any costs leaving my current lender, what's the total cost there? That's one cost. What's my current cost where I am? That's basically my interest cost where I am staying at the moment. Which one's better off? Now, if you refinance to a low rate and your monthly payment goes down, it's only benefiting you if you redirect that monthly payment onto an overpayment. Does that make sense? Let me run an example. Let's say, for example, the previous example was £890. Let's go you go from £890 and it goes down to £800. Well, if you take that £90 saving and then say, hey, you've got a bit of money each month, let's go and enjoy ourselves. Or if you borrow more debt, so you're taking more money out and it's like you're in no better place forward. But if you take that money, that saving, and overpay on your mortgage balance, you're going to pay your mortgage back sooner. You're going to be debt-free sooner. You're going to be one of the members of the club who owns their house outright without any mortgage. And then the final point is, hey, look, it's normal in the UK to do 25-year mortgages. I've seen many mortgages now 30 years and sometimes going 35 years. I'm not against them. I think it's quite nice to get your home but it doesn't mean you have to pay payments based on that term. So if you've got a 30-year mortgage, but you wished you'd taken a 25 or a 15-year mortgage or a 10-year mortgage, it doesn't matter. You can keep that term as it is, but you can overpay and pay the payment that if it were a 15-year mortgage. So let me tell you an example. Let me give you some figures. Let's say, for example, the 30-year mortgage is £750, but a 15-year mortgage is £1,000. Well, if you paid £1,000 a month on your 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay it off over 15 years. Okay, so there's plenty of calculators out there. If you get stuck, ping me an email. I can run some figures for you. We have a spreadsheet. In fact, don't do that. Go on to warrenshute.com, go to the resources section and download the mortgage calculator. You can key in all your figures on there, and it will tell you what you need to pay. So you can just say, okay, what happens if I've got a £300,000 mortgage, for example. It's currently over 30 years. Key those in, and you should get your monthly payment. Say, that's about right. Yeah. Change the term now to 15 years. It will give you a figure. Okay, so if you now pay that figure on your mortgage every month, your mortgage will effectively be paid off over 15 years. Just check out redemption penalties. So I hope that's of use. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, please like the show. Please share the show. Please tell people about the show, because obviously the more people who are getting used to this and learning about this information, the better the community we have, the more questions we have coming in. So please please subscribe, and tell your friends about it. Any questions, please ping across to me. I do like to answer them. It makes me feel more connected with you rather than just talking to a camera. But until next time, look after yourself, stay safe. My name is Warren Shute. This is Financial Education for the Nation. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's a great number of back issues to go through, and remember, what makes us different on your financial journey is the support with access to downloads and templates on warrenshute.com, the YouTube videos and podcasts, as well as access to me, a multi-award winning certified financial planner and certified international coach. So please do engage, and let's get your finances sorted together.